Have you ever felt, utterly swamped by information? Like you're just drowning in data, endless reports, all the stuff demanding your attention.
Oh, constantly. It's the modern condition, almost.
Or maybe you've had this truly brilliant idea, right, for a new project, a career move, maybe just a different way of thinking, and you find yourself needing to convince someone else to get them on board. It feels like, I don't know, almost half our time these days is spent doing something like selling.
Yeah, persuading, influencing, motivating,
Yeah.
trying to get others to see what you see.
It's absolutely true. And that constant need to, well, cut through all the noise, articulate your vision, inspire action. It's not just nice to have, is it?
No, not at all. It's really a foundational skill now for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're just starting out trying to get a project off the ground or if you're the CEO navigating some complex market shift.
And what we're really excited to explore today is how this often underappreciated skill, communication, acts as this sort of unseen superpower, the thing that really fuels success in pretty much every field. So we're going on a deep dive today, unpacking insights from some, well, incredibly influential leaders and organizations. We want to reveal how they manage to distill vast amounts of information, how they grab attention, simplify really complex stuff, and crucially, move people to action with real precision.
In this deep dive, it's about way more than just, sounding articulate. In this world, just awash with data, endless distractions, clear, concise communication. It's not a luxury anymore.
No, it feels essential.
Absolutely essential for your career growth, for making sure your team is actually pulling in the same direction, for bringing those big ideas, those really ambitious projects to life.
And employers see it too, don't they?
Oh, yeah. They consistently rank it as the most sought-after skill. And it's only become more critical, really, with remote work being so prevalent and, of course, AI and automation advancing so fast.
So mastering these skills isn't just helpful, it's how you sort of future-proof your career.
Yeah.
Become what some people call a learn-it-all.
Exactly. Adaptable, always growing. That's the key.
So our mission today is to equip you, the listener, with practical, actionable strategies for writing, for storytelling, for presenting, strategies that can create this almost unstoppable flywheel of success for your ideas.
Yeah, that flywheel concept is powerful.
We want you to discover why simplicity isn't just, polite, but profoundly powerful. How compelling stories forge these deep, lasting connections, and how making your mission your mantra can literally transform an organization.
Okay, so if we're talking about this unstoppable flywheel for communication, we absolutely have to start at the core principle, the thing that underpins everything else,
Which is
the power of simplicity.
simple.
Yeah,
Okay, so simplicity is key. But why is it so hard for us to be simple? Especially when the world feels so complex. Our brains, they're just bombarded daily, aren't they?
Totally bombarded. An explosion of data, every email, every news alert, social media notifications, it's nonstop.
And that leads to this thing cognitive scientists call cognitive strain, right?
Exactly. That's the mental effort, the energy we have to spend when we hit unfamiliar words or jargon or those really convoluted, tangled sentences.
Like trying to read some dense academic paper when you just want the main points.
Precisely. And that struggle, it gets amplified because our brains fundamentally get bored really, really easily.
We like new things.
We're wired for novelty, yeah. And to conserve energy. So if your message is complex, dense, requires too much effort, you're fighting basic human wiring.
Making it tough to grab attention.
And even harder to hold it for more than a few seconds sometimes, which is exactly why simplicity becomes this, well, superpower.
Okay, so who's a good example of someone who really got this?
Well, a prime example comes from a leader known for his relentless focus, Jeff Bezos.
Ah, Amazon.
Right. Back in, I think it was the summer of 2004, Bezos made a decision that apparently just stunned his leadership team.
What was it?
He banned PowerPoint presentations.
Banned PowerPoint at Amazon, a tech giant.
Yep.
Banned them. You can just imagine the reaction, right? Probably some audible gasps in that meeting. Maybe a few people clutching their keyboards in despair.
I can picture it. So why? What was the thinking?
It was a surprising move, sure, but the rationale was profound. Instead of slides and bullet points, his executive team was told they had to pitch ideas using 6-page narrative memos.
6 pages. Written out.
Written out. Bezos argued it forced everyone to think more deeply, to share ideas using simple words, short sentences, really clear explanations. It was a return to what he called an ancient communication device, the written word. And that shift, that focus on narrative clarity, became a cornerstone of Amazon's incredible growth over the next couple of decades. It demands real synthesis from the writer, not just bullet points that can kind of hide fuzzy thinking.
That's fascinating, almost counterintuitive in our very visual age. And it links directly to the science of readability, doesn't it? Something called the Flesch-Kincaid test? Exactly. The Flesch-Kincaid test, developed back in the 1940s by Dr. Rudolf Flesch. It's a neat metric, actually. It measures reading ease on a scale, usually 1 to 100.
Okay.
And then it converts that score into a corresponding U.S. grade level. So like a score of 30 is considered very difficult reading. A 70 is easy. 90 or above, very easy.
So what's the target for, say, a general adult audience?
Well, here's the surprising bit. For broad adult audiences, the target is often around an 8th grade reading level.
8th grade. Really? That sounds
Right.
low.
It does, doesn't it? But it's not about dumbing down the content. It's about making it universally accessible, ensuring maximum comprehension without sacrificing the depth of the idea.
And Bezos himself used this.
Absolutely. His own shareholder letters, which explain incredibly complex business concepts, market dynamics, new ventures, tech strategy, they consistently score around that 8th grade level, making really sophisticated ideas accessible.
So it's not just about making it easy to understand, is it?
Yeah.
There's more psychology at play. I'm thinking of Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel laureate, and his idea of cognitive ease.
Yes. Kahneman's work is crucial here. He argues that if you care about being seen as credible and intelligent, you should actually avoid complex language when simpler language will do the job just as well, or better.
So what does that mean for us practically?
It means when your writing is simple, easy to process, the brain experiences this processing fluency. People don't just understand your message, they actually feel good about understanding it.
Ah, okay. There's an emotional component.
Definitely. When they feel that cognitive ease, they're more likely to trust you, to support your ideas, to agree with what you're proposing. That mental effort, the cognitive strain from jargon or tangled sentences, it adds this, like, weight to the brain.
And if it gets too heavy?
People just drop it. They disengage. Cognitive ease, on the other hand, creates a more pleasant, receptive state. It's a really powerful psychological lever in persuasion that often gets overlooked.
Okay, so aiming for cognitive ease makes sense. How do we actually achieve that simplicity in our writing and speaking?
Yeah.
You mentioned short words earlier.
Right. Short words are key. If you look at the history of English, there's this interesting split between short, old Germanic words, the kind our Anglo-Saxon ancestors used, and the longer, more formal Latinate words that came in later after the Norman conquest.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. Think need versus require, or boss versus superior, next to versus adjacent.
Okay, I see. The first ones feel more direct.
Exactly. Favoring those short, ancient words helps eliminate jargon. It makes sentences tighter, clearer, stronger. Winston Churchill had a great quote on this. Short words are best, and old words when short are best of all. He felt they tapped into something deeper, more direct, more honest.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But playing devil's advocate for a second, isn't there a risk? If you simplify too much, especially for a really sophisticated audience, might it come across as, I don't know, simplistic, or like you're dumbing it down?
That's a really important question, and the goal is absolutely not to dumb down, it's to clarify. Even the most sophisticated audience appreciates clarity. Nobody enjoys working harder than they need to just to understand something. And actually, being able to explain a complex idea simply often demonstrates a deeper mastery of the subject, not less. It shows you've really grappled with it and distilled its essence.
Okay, that makes sense. You have to truly understand something to explain it simply.
Precisely. And you see this principle applied most dramatically in crisis situations, where clarity is literally a matter of life and death.
Right, like public health messages.
Exactly. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the messaging was incredibly concise. Stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Short, simple, direct.
Or Japan's 3Cs campaign. Closed spaces, crowded places, close contact settings. Very memorable.
Or think about basic emergency instructions. Stop, drop and roll, drop, cover, and hold on. They become almost automatic because they're so simple and ingrained.
Why is that so critical in a crisis?
It ties into something called mental noise theory. Basically, when people are under high stress, their ability to hear, understand, and remember information accurately plummets. So messages need to be incredibly brief and clear. The rule of thumb is often something you can say in about 7 to 9 seconds, or roughly 20 words. You have to strip away everything but the absolute essentials because the brain's already overloaded.
And this isn't just for emergencies, right? This idea of simplifying complex stuff applies Everywhere.
Everywhere. Take the legal field, which is, let's face it, notorious for complexity.
Definitely. Legalese.
Right. Well, Sean Burton, who was general counsel at GE Aviation, launched this initiative called Brilliant Contracting. The goal, to make contracts understandable by a high schooler.
Wow. That's ambitious for legal contracts.
Hugely ambitious. He was actively fighting against what he called that arcane legalese.
And this isn't even a new idea, is it?
Not at all. Think about Abraham Lincoln, way back. He was famous for breaking down complex legal cases into really simple elements. He used plain, straightforward Anglo-Saxon words, as he put it, to connect with jurors. He aimed for conversation, not lecture.
And fast forward to modern business.
You see it masterfully done by people like Bom Kim, the founder of Coupang, the Amazon of South Korea.
Right, you mentioned him. His rocket delivery.
Exactly. Technologically, it's incredibly complex, machine learning, logistics, dynamic warehousing, all that stuff. But how did he pitch it to investors for their IPO? Not with tech jargon.
Oh, well.
With simple, relatable anecdotes. Order as late as midnight and wake up to find your item on your doorstep. Or, does your child need a tutu for ballet practice? Order by midnight, have it arrive at dawn.
Focusing on the customer benefit, the outcome.
Purely on the outcome. His pitch actually scored a 90 for reading ease on the Flesch-Kincaid scale. That's like a third-grade level.
Incredible. For such a complex operation.
Because the average customer, or even the average investor, doesn't need to know the intricacies of the AI. They need to know what it does for them. Kim understood that simplifying the explanation is key. Meet your audience where they are.
Okay, so simplicity is the foundation. Get the message clear, concise, easy to grasp. What's next to make it truly powerful? To make it stick?
That's where cracked and compelling narratives comes in. The art of storytelling. And a great starting point is a concept borrowed from Hollywood. The log line.
The log line, like for a movie pitch.
Exactly. It's that concise, compelling sentence, usually around 25 to 30 words, something you can say in maybe 15 seconds that captures the absolute essence of your story or your idea.
Can you give some film examples?
Sure. Think Back to the Future. A teenage boy travels back in time to ensure his parents meet and fall in love. Or Star Wars. A farm boy battles an evil empire to rescue a princess and restore freedom to the galaxy.
Instantly tells you what it's about. The core conflict, the stakes.
Precisely. It's the ultimate elevator pitch for an idea.
And this applies beyond movies.
Oh, absolutely. Look at someone like Mr. Beast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Huge creator, billions of views.
Right.
He insists that every single one of his video concepts must be explainable in one short, compelling sentence. If it can't be boiled down to that logline, he won't make the video. He directly links his success to that clarity of concept.
And from an investor's point of view, or even just a manager listening to a pitch.
It's critical. If an entrepreneur or a team leader stumbles, if they can't articulate their core idea in one sentence, interest fades fast. It signals they haven't fully thought through the problem or the value they're bringing.
That kind of precision isn't just for pitches, though. It's used elsewhere, too, right? Like in the military.
Yes, absolutely. There's a concept called commander's intent in the U.S. military. It's a clear, concise statement defining the vision of a successful outcome. And it's repeated often, so everyone from top brass down to the front lines understands the ultimate goal and can act independently towards it.
And that idea has filtered into business.
It has, notably at Amazon, where they call it BLO, not
WELO, okay.
instant bottom line on top. It means the most critical information, the absolute key takeaway, is put right at the beginning of emails and documents, often bolded.
So you get the main point immediately.
Instantly. Andy Jassy, Amazon CEO, uses BLO all the time in his internal memos. It ensures clarity and alignment, especially for big, complex decisions involving thousands of people.
And the impact is?
Huge time saver for busy leaders drowning in information. And it grabs attention in those crucial first 15, 30 seconds. Prevents people getting lost in the weeds before they even know what the main point is. It's that Amazon-style precision. Makes every word count.
And Amazon has specific guidelines for this, don't they? Clear, concise, specific?
They do. Clear means active voice, avoid jargon. Aim for that 8th grade reading level we talked about.
Okay.
Concise means short sentences, ideally 20 words or fewer. Think of it like a sculptor chipping away excess stone to reveal the form within. Cut the fluff.
In specific.
Avoid vague weasel words. Don't say nearly all customers. Say 87% of Prime members. Don't say performance improved. Say customer satisfaction increased by 15%. Be precise. Amazon's own press releases are great models for this.
They also use that so what test, right?
Ah, yes, the so what test. It's brilliant, actually. You state your idea or finding, then ask so what. Then you answer that and ask so what again, maybe 3 times.
What does that achieve?
It forces you to drill down to the core message, the real relevance, the ultimate benefit for the audience. Like with Apple's M1 chip. They didn't just say it has 16 billion transistors.
Okay, so what?
Exactly. After asking so what a few times, they got to the core benefit. The M1 chip is a gigantic leap forward for the Mac, delivering more power, faster performance, and dramatically longer battery life. That's what people care about.
You see this same kind of sharp focus in Bezos' own mission for Blue Origin, his space company.
You do. The mission statement, famously found scrawled on a coffee-stained piece of paper, apparently, is just to create an enduring human presence in space.
Clear, concise, specific, no jargon.
Just the core purpose distilled right down.
Okay, so we have clarity, we have precision. How do we make these ideas truly memorable, make them stick in people's minds?
That's where metaphors come in. They are incredibly powerful mental shortcuts.
Shortcuts. How so?
Well, a good metaphor can condense a huge amount of information, complex relationships, or feelings into just one word or phrase. It paints this instant picture in the listener's mind.
Bezos used these a lot, didn't he?
He was a master. Think day one instantly conveys that perpetual startup energy, never getting complacent. Or flywheels to describe Amazon's growth engine. 2 pizza teams for small, agile groups. Missionaries over mercenaries for hiring people driven by passion, not just pay.
And there's science behind why metaphors are so effective.
Oh, yeah. George Lakoff and Mark Johnson's work, like their book, Metaphors We Live By, shows that metaphors aren't just fancy literary devices. They fundamentally shape how we think, how we understand the world. They're everywhere.
Like in everyday language.
All the time. We talk about arguments as war. Defend your position, attack weak points. Time is money. Spend time, waste time. Love is a journey. Culturally, roses signify love. Margaritaville isn't just a song, it's a state of mind.
And in business, too.
Definitely. Warren Buffett's economic castle with a deep moat is a classic. Instantly paints a picture of a well-protected, durable, competitive advantage.
And Amazon itself developed some really iconic metaphors that became part of its culture, right? Like the 2 pizza teams.
Absolutely. That came about early on. Bezos read Frederick Brooks's The Mythical Man Month, which argued adding more people to a late software project makes it later. More people means exponentially more communication lines, slowing things down.
So the solution?
Keep teams small enough that they could be fed by 2 pizzas. It became this brilliant shorthand for decentralized decision-making, agility, speed.
And that evolved.
It evolved into the idea of single-threaded leaders, or STLs, assigning one leader to own one single major initiative, completely dedicated, not juggling multiple projects. This intense focus drives what they call hyper-growth velocity, super fast development and scaling. Companies like the Hopper travel app adopted STLs to accelerate their growth dramatically.
And the Amazon flywheel, that wasn't originally Amazon's idea, was it?
No, that came from Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. But Bezos seized on it. It illustrates how lower prices lead to more customer visits, which attracts more third-party sellers, which expands selection and convenience, which drives down costs, allowing for lower prices. It's a virtuous cycle.
A self-reinforcing loop.
Exactly. Each component pushes the next, making the whole thing spin faster and faster. AWS uses a similar flywheel. More services attract more developers, driving usage up and costs down, attracting even more developers. It visually explains their momentum.
Metaphors are also great for explaining really unique experiences, things that are hard to describe literally.
Totally. Like astronaut Chris Hadfield describing a rocket launch. He didn't just list G-forces. He said it sounded like a dragon starting to breathe fire and felt like being shaken in the jaws of an enormous dog.
Instantly relatable, even though most of us will never experience it.
Right. It creates resonance, allows us to feel it vicariously.
Building on metaphors, there are also analogies. How are they different and why are they useful?
Analogies are similar, but they often draw a more detailed comparison between 2 systems to transfer understanding. Think, the heart is like a system of buckets and pumps. It explains the function by relating it to something familiar.
And they're particularly good for complex ideas.
Especially complex ideas, and especially when the comparison comes from a far domain, a totally different field. Research by Dr. Diane Halpern showed that these far domain analogies lead to much better recall and understanding of complex scientific concepts.
Why is that?
They force your brain to work a little harder to see the underlying structure, the deeper connections, which makes the new ideas stick better.
Can you give an example of a powerful analogy?
Bezos used a great one for the internet. Instead of comparing it to a gold rush, which implies something finite that runs out, he compared it to electricity.
Electricity, how did that work?
He explained that, like electricity in the early 20th century, the internet wasn't just one thing. It was this foundational utility that would power countless unforeseen innovations and new industries. It reframed the whole thing with incredible optimism and a sense of limitless potential.
That's powerful, changing the frame completely.
And Dr. Werner Vogels, Amazon's CTO, used a simple library analogy to explain their incredibly complex, simple storage service, S3. He said objects are like books, buckets are like sections in the library, and keys are like the card catalog.
Made it graspable for non-techies.
Instantly. And that clarity was a huge factor in S3's massive growth, storing trillions of objects now.
Okay, so we've got the building blocks. Simplicity, precision, stories, metaphors, analogies. How do you put it all together? Structure it for real impact.
Right. Structure is key. And the most fundamental structure for any compelling narrative, whether it's an ancient myth or a modern business pitch, is the three-act structure.
The classic beginning, middle, end.
Basically, yes. Goes all the way back to Aristotle. Screenwriters like Sid Field formalized it more, showing how nearly every successful story follows this pattern. It's not a rigid formula, but a universal blueprint that actually helps organize your thoughts.
So let's break it down. Act 1.
Act 1 is the setup, the ordinary world. You introduce your hero, could be a person, a company, even the problem you're addressing, and establish the relatable situation. Then comes the inciting incident, or catalyst.
The thing that kicks off the story.
Exactly. It disrupts the status quo, sets the journey in motion. Think Luke Skywalker on his boring desert planet before the droids arrive. Or in Notting Hill, when Hugh Grant spills orange juice on Julia Roberts. That's the catalyst.
And that catalyst moment is important for pitching ideas, too.
Crucial. What sparked your passion? Was it an event, a mentor, a problem you saw? Howard Schultz didn't just decide to sell coffee. His catalyst was visiting a Milan coffee bar, seeing the community, feeling the experience. That sparked Starbucks.
And even heroes have doubts, right? There's a debate phase.
Yes, usually within Act 1. The hero hesitates, questions the path, maybe consults others. Mark Randolph, Netflix co-founder, heard that will never work constantly when he first pitched Mailing Diggities, showing that initial vulnerability makes the story more relatable, more human. We all face doubts.
Okay, so after the setup and catalyst comes Act 2.
Act 2 is the challenge, the journey. This is where the hero faces obstacles, maybe villains, competitors, market forces, internal resistance, conflicts. It's where the tension builds, keeping the audience engaged. Luke fighting stormtroopers, facing Vader.
And this act isn't all struggle, is it? There are lighter moments.
Right, the fun and games beat, moments that break the tension, develop character, show progress. Harry Potter exploring Hogwarts, playing Quidditch. In business stories, Sarah Blakely, the Spanx founder, injects humor, like talking about cutting the feet off her pantyhose. It makes the journey more engaging.
Then comes the low point.
Often, yes. The all is lost moment. The darkest point, where success seems impossible. Think James Dyson and his 5,126 failed vacuum prototypes. But how the hero climbs out of that dark night of the soul is often the most inspiring part. Dyson learned from every failure.
And finally, Act 3.
Act 3 is the resolution, the transformation. The hero overcomes the final hurdles, achieves the goal, but is also changed by the journey. They return with the elixir, the reward, the lesson, the benefit for the world. Luke destroys the Death Star. Dyson finally succeeds.
This 3-act structure, this hero's journey, it shows up in business origin stories all the time, doesn't it?
All the time. Yuval Noah Harari points out storytelling is how humans build trust and cooperate. These origin stories tap into that fundamental need.
Like Bezos' story for Amazon.
Absolutely. Act 1, stable job, ordinary world, learns about the internet's crazy growth, call to adventure, boss advises against leaving debate, drives across country, building the plan, crossing the threshold.
And Act 2, the challenges.
The dot-com crash was the big all-is-lost moment. Amazon stock tanked. People called them Amazon.bomb. But the treasure found during that struggle was realizing they could rent out their server capacity, became AWS, and open up to third-party sellers.
Which became huge parts of their business.
Exactly. Act 3 is the resolution. Amazon's massive success, creating jobs, changing commerce. He even used this narrative structure when testifying before Congress.
What about Netflix?
Similar pattern. Problem. Blockbuster late fees. Catalyst. Pitching Blockbuster and getting laughed at. all is lost fuel. Resolution, revolutionizing entertainment with streaming. It's a classic underdog story.
Or Canva, the design platform.
Melanie Perkins. Act 1, frustrated by complex design software. Act 2, faces 100 investor rejections. Challenge. Learns to kite surf to meet an investor, gets stranded at sea, fun and games near disaster.
Answer correct.
Resolution, finally gets funding when she focuses her pitch on the why, the user problem.
Airbnb, too.
Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia struggling with rent catalyst. The crazy idea of renting airbeds, initial steps. Building trust on the platform. Challenge. Revolutionizing travel, resolution. Like an investor said, every great founder tells a great story.
And these stories don't have to be epic sagas. You mentioned Warby Parker.
Right. They fit their entire origin story. Lost classes, high cost, idea for affordable stylish glasses, give back program into just 100 words on their lens cloths. Perfect hero's journey snack.
So these narratives persuade on an emotional level. But how do organizations like Amazon ensure ideas are customer-focused before they even get to the storytelling stage? That working backwards process.
Ah, yes, the PRFAQ process. It's really unique and powerful. It forces teams to start by imagining the product is already launched and writing the press release and frequently ask questions for it.
Before building anything.
Before writing a line of code, often. You have to think entirely from the customer's perspective first. What's the benefit? How does it solve their problem?
What goes into this future press release?
6 key things. A clear headline, a subheading that's basically the log line, a summary paragraph with a date location to make it feel real, problem paragraphs detailing customer pain points, solution paragraphs explaining how the product works, and crucially, mock company quotes and customer testimonials.
And this actually works.
The results speak for themselves. The AWS team apparently spent a year and a half just on PR FAQs before coding. That deep upfront thinking about the customer led to its incredible success. We've seen other companies use mock TV ads, visual PR FAQs to get funding. It forces alignment on the why before the what or how.
It sounds a bit like NASA's approach for the moon landing.
Exactly. It's like backcasting. Figure out the end goal, first landing on the moon, and then work backward to figure out the steps needed, even if the tech doesn't exist yet. Vision drives the process, not the other way around.
Now, where do these leaders, these great communicators, get their inspiration and refine their skills? Reading seems to be a common theme.
Definitely. Leaders are readers is more than a cliche. Bezos openly talks about being inspired by Jules Verne's sci-fi novels for Blue Origin. There's even a model rocket inspired by Verne at their headquarters.
And he encouraged reading among his team.
Absolutely. He ran book clubs for Amazon's senior leaders. They read The Mythical Man Month, which inspired 2 pizza teams. They read Good to Great, which led to adopting the flywheel concept.
So reading gives you ideas, frameworks.
And perspective, shortcuts to knowledge you wouldn't get otherwise. Admiral James Stavridis, former NATO commander, also emphasizes that reading directly sharpens your own writing and speaking. You absorb structures, vocabulary, different ways of thinking.
And it helps you sound unique.
Yeah, that's a great point. Brandel Chambly, the golf analyst known for his sharp insights, deliberately reads widely outside of golf. He learned from another writer that if you only read stuff in your field, you'll just end up sounding like everyone else in your field. Reading broadly gives you fresh angles, better analogies.
Okay, so communication skills are built, honed. But many people have a real fear of public speaking.
Oh, huge fear. Glossophobia. Statistics say it affects something like 73% of people. Yet it's so important. Warren Buffett famously said mastering it can boost your value in the workplace by 50%.
50%. But the good news is you can get better.
Absolutely. Great presenters are made, not born. We use a simple model called AMP, ability, message, practice.
Okay, break that down. Ability.
Ability is your constant, your natural strengths. Maybe you have great humor, a strong voice, a knack for language. Embrace those. Don't try to be someone you're not.
Message.
Message is a variable. That's the content. Crafting a clear theme, finding engaging stories, designing visuals, using those short sentences, that takes real intellectual effort.
And practice.
Also variable. This is key. Rehearsing, internalizing the content until it flows naturally. Practice builds confidence like nothing else and lets your natural abilities shine.
Can you give an example of someone who improved dramatically?
Steve Jobs is the classic example. Look at interviews from 1978. He's anxious, fidgety, mumbling sometimes. Fast forward to the 2007 iPhone launch, charismatic, masterful, commanding the stage.
So he wasn't born that way.
Not at all. He honed his message relentlessly. He practiced like crazy. And he learned to leverage his natural strengths, his vision, his passion, his showmanship. Anyone can improve. Record yourself speaking. Watch it back. Notice filler words, sentence length, clarity. It's a powerful feedback loop.
Moving beyond individual skills, what about communication at an organizational level?
Yeah.
How do great companies stay aligned?
A huge part of that is making the mission your mantra. It needs to be more than just words on a plaque.
Like Bezos and customer obsession at Amazon.
Exactly. That wasn't just a slogan. It's reportedly mentioned over 500 times in his shareholder letters. It's embedded in their DNA, guiding decisions daily.
But many leaders don't communicate their vision enough.
That's what Harvard's John Potter found. He said leaders typically undercommunicate their vision by a factor of 10. You need to overcommunicate it, repeat it constantly, until it becomes this ingrained mantra everyone lives and breathes.
Like Steve Jobs did when he returned to Apple.
Precisely. He rallied everyone around the mission. People with passion can change the world for the better. That shared purpose was instrumental in Apple's turnaround and massive success.
Is there a trick to making mission statements stick?
Guy Kawasaki, who worked with Jobs, talks about the 190-point font rule. Basically, can your mission statement fit on a slide in giant 190-point font?
Forces extreme conciseness.
Exactly. Fewer, more powerful words, like TED Talks to spread ideas. Short, memorable, impactful.
Any other examples of mission-driven companies?
Medtronic, the medical device company, is a great one. The founder, Earl Becken, was driven by a tragic incident where a child died during a power outage because their pacemaker failed. That became his catalyst, his mission to prevent that from ever happening again. Led to the first battery-powered implantable pacemaker.
And they reinforce that mission.
They do. Employees apparently receive medallions with the mission statement. It's a constant reminder of their purpose. It's about finding that obsession. Because, as Bezos said, you don't choose your passions choose you.
Beyond words, symbols can also convey big ideas, right?
Absolutely. Think of Bezos's 10,000-year clock being built inside a mountain. It's a massive, tangible symbol of long-term thinking for Amazon and Blue Origin.
And what about data? We're drowning in it, but big numbers are hard to grasp.
Our brains just aren't wired for huge, abstract numbers like zettabytes or trillions. So great communicators make data tangible, relatable. They use comparisons of size, distance, and time.
Like Steve Jobs with the iPod.
Perfect example. He didn't say 5 gigabytes. He said 1,000 songs in your pocket. Instantly understandable scale. Or scientists explaining a giant laser facility as being the size of 3 football fields aimed at a target the size of a pencil eraser.
Making the events feel concrete.
Exactly. Distance, too. AWS talks about their Snowball data transfer devices having traveled the equivalent of circling the world 250 times, or the Sagan Planet Walk, scaling the solar system down so you can walk it.
And time.
Amazon estimates Prime saves members 75 hours a year. Then they translate that, valued at $630 per member annually. It turns abstract data into concrete value. It answers the so what for the listener. It's about creating value and wrapping data in stories or comparisons people can actually grasp.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground simplicity, narrative frameworks, purpose, data. How can someone listening pull all this together into a practical tool they can use, say, for their next presentation or pitch?
There's a really useful framework, sometimes called the Galley method, that leverages the rule of 3. Our brains can really only hold about 3, maybe 4 things easily in short-term memory.
The rule of 3, okay.
So this framework helps you build a simple one-page communication blueprint. Just 3 core parts. First, your logline. That single most important message you want the audience to take away. Under 30 words, maybe even under 10 if you can, like the clothing brand UNTech. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Super clear.
Okay, logline first. Then?
Second, 3 supporting messages. Just 3 key points that reinforce or explain your main logline. For UNTech, it might be perfect length, fits all shapes, unique hemline.
Logline, 3 supporting points. And the third part?
Third, bring those 3 points to life. Use stories, specific data points, or those analogies and metaphors we talked about to illustrate each of the 3 supporting messages, make them vivid, memorable.
So, logline, 3 messages, stories, data, analogies.
That's it. It's incredibly versatile. Use it for a pitch, a presentation, an interview, even just organizing your thoughts for an important email. It forces clarity, helps reduce slide clutter, ensures alignment.
And it works in practice.
Definitely. We've seen CEOs use it for complex financial earnings reports. Boil it down to 1 headline message and 3 supporting points. Makes it digestible for investors, for the media. It proves simplicity and structure actually empower your message.
It's not just about being heard, is it?
No. It's about being understood, remembered, and ultimately inspiring action.
Well, today we've really taken a deep dive into these communication secrets from some of the world's most successful leaders and organizations.
Mm.
We've looked at how simplicity, compelling narratives, frameworks like working backwards, and really driving home your mission can transform your ability to inspire and influence.
It really comes down to connecting with people on a fundamental level.
So for everyone listening,
Mm.
think about the biggest idea you have right now, the one you're really passionate about, the one you think could make a real difference.
Hmm.
Now, equipped with these tools, simplicity, story, structure, purpose, and person, how will you craft its narrative? How will you cut through the noise, really captivate your audience, and make your mark?
What story will you choose to tell to unlock that idea's potential? It's a powerful question to consider.
If this deep dive resonated with you, if it gave you some new ways to think about communication, we'd love it if you could take a moment to like this discussion. Maybe share it with someone else who could benefit.
Yeah, help spread these ideas.
And of course, subscribe to the deep dive for more insights into the knowledge and skills that are shaping our world.